Hi, I'm Jeremy Bruch from Made Milwaukee Famous, and I'm in Genville.
Hey Jeremy, thanks
Hi.
for coming on the show.
Yeah, no problem. My pleasure.
Good to be in Austin with you. We're here at South by Southwest 2007. And the word on the street is that you are quite the foodie, so I am really excited to talk with you.
Yes.
Give me a little bit about your background in the world of food.
I was pretty much raised in kitchens. I had a grandma that owned a little towny bar, and I had another grandma that ran a country club. So between those two, I was already, frying my own cheese balls and, slamming heads of iceberg down and pulling out the core in the country club and running the little egg slicer and, basically pestering everybody in the kitchen from a pretty young age. I grew up picking morel mushrooms in Iowa, like in the springtime. It's like a weed there, and they, not knowing it's a cousin of the truffle, roll it in egg, flour, and breadcrumbs and dip it in ketchup, which growing up was perfectly fine, but since my palate opened up a little bit, I realized that in season down here they're $140 a pound. I started, my partner and I, we started a personal chef service and catering company, and we would rent a car every spring and drive up to Iowa through Tornado Alley at like the worst possible time. And the first year we did it, we came back with something like 170 pounds. And a friend of mine who was then a chief instructor at the Texas Culinary Academy helped me dish them off to all the top restaurants in town. So we became known as the mushroom guys. And we would undercut the wholesalers who were selling like these little grays, and we would come back with these blondes like this that are like that big around. Stuff like crab meat, asparagus, and yeah, good stuff.
That sounds fantastic.
I get derailed talking about food a lot. I remember the first time I made it's called Fuck You macaroni-n-cheese. Lobster stock, cream, Gruyere, smoked Gouda.
Oh my God, that sounds great.
And then, the idea is that you eat it and people get, you eat something and you get mad because every bite you're having to accept your own limitations, and that can be emotional, and it's great if you can use food to take over people's emotions and I love making people eat things that they hate and like it.
Oh,
I'll sneak it in there, I've got friends like, I really don't like mushrooms.
I don't like beets.
It's like, well, exactly. It's like, I really don't like mushrooms, well, here's my smoked mushroom gravy and biscuits for breakfast. See what you think. Have you ever had a smoked tomato?
No.
A smoked dried Roma tomato. I'd never heard of it. I've got a lot of those too, where it's like, I've never heard of that, but good plus good plus good equals good. Usually. But you take a tomato in a smoker and just on really low heat let it go all night, or you can even finish them in the oven. The important thing is just to get the smoked flavor in there. But it's like a sun-dried tomato, but the girl I was dating that was a vegetarian. She was on the phone talking to one of her friends, and I just kind of slivered one up because I was making vegan.
Oh, yeah.
And I went over and I popped one in her mouth. She started chewing it. She jumped up and she spit it out. She thought I'd given her meat.
What's the thing?
They're amazing.
That sounds great.
And you can use them in whatever you're making with tomatoes. Just
use
a smoked tomato instead. And smoked mushrooms are insane.
Are there any other processes that you're playing with right now? Like you've taken on smoking and...
Oh yeah. The new invention I've been working on just this past week was Giada, what's her last name from Food TV, Everyday Italian girl. She did like a fried goat cheese ball, and she had it was just goat cheese, egg, panko, and then she fried them in olive oil. And it's like, okay, that's kind of cool, but goat cheese doesn't really have the fat content I want to go for those, reminiscent of like little towny bars, the cheese balls, that, like you get the fried cauliflower and mushrooms and cheese balls, and it's all the same, it's just a big blob of yellow cheese in the middle. So first I did a mixture of goat cheese and blue cheese, and then breaded them like 8 times, just egg, panko, So you get this, when you bite into it, you just get this. It's awesome. You know, it's almost like, it can be dangerous, like eating a bowl of dry Captain Crunch where you're just going to cut out the roof of your mouth a little bit. But the other night I had a long talk with the cheese guy at Whole Foods. And cheap American brie. Do the breading, but add ground walnuts. And then there's in the breading.
Breading, yeah.
And then a fig, port, sweet and sour sauce. So you have a fruit and cheese plate all in one bite. And the cool thing is that they look like little savory truffles. So what I'm going to try to do is branch out on that and be able to like make like little, I'm more of a salt person than a sugar person. But it'd be cool to have like a little sweetheart box of nothing but savory truffles. Because when you fry them and then you let them sit like brie at slight, room temperature, and it's a lot of fun.
Fantastic. You have made me want to eat every single thing that you've just described.
Yeah, see? Good. All right, I'm doing my job.
Can I come to your house?
Yeah. The good and bad thing about being a touring musician is that, you've got your per diem and you generally get to see the club and the 5 blocks around it, and, I'll eat a McGriddle twice a year just for the culinary science of it. You know how many tries it took them to fractalize maple crystals to make it work in a dough? It's complicated. But I won't get started on my hatred of fast food, but as a touring musician, you don't really have a choice. I'll spend $2 a day out of my per diem on sunflower kernels and vitamin water, and store up, X amount of money, and then find a really kick-ass sushi place, and everyone else will go to some whatever, and I'll come out blasted on sake and eel and toro, just like, I want to punch somebody. Like out of glee, just like, yeah, and everyone else is like, food's not supposed to make you sad.
Do you feel like you have to choose between your love of food and your love of music?
Yeah, it's definitely hard, but I'm equally, that's the 2 things I'm good at, is cooking and drumming, and between those 2, I've got a pretty good plan A through D.
That's excellent, and you're definitely, you can see that your passion is in both of them. So good for you doing what you love.
Yeah.
Jeremy, thank you so much for being on the show.
My pleasure.
This has
I'm
just
glad
been fantastic.
It's really great that you're doing this. It's really, really cool.
Thank you so much.